Hey, what's up, gamers? At least it's not midnight this time. We just got the patch notes for the patch that will be coming out by the end of the week. It is currently Tuesday at time of recording, and there's some pretty interesting, juicy bits in here that I want to go over. This is a pretty bite-sized patch note, but there's a couple things in here that I think will be really exciting. Number one, increase the amount of reflecting mist you encounter by roughly 50%. Reflecting mist in the lake is how you get that mirror jewelry. And I can attest, as someone who has run a few dozen lakes by now, that it is pretty rare. And especially considering that it is like the notable thing about this league, probably like the one interesting thing about this league that's like new besides Lightning Conduit. I am really excited for the potential for a lot more mirror jewelry. So I think that that is a huge change. Would have been nice to have that for the past couple weeks. Breach Lords will now spawn closer to the start of the breach, so you have more time to kill them. Rock formations will now block projectiles. If you saw the clip of Rice QT dying, those rock formations have no collision whatsoever, and the projectiles will go right through them and shoot you right in the face. So while they look like they would block projectiles, they didn't. They were just visual. Widen some bridges so it's not as annoying to try to shield charge through. I personally really hate that at the moment. League reflections where Kalandra is present will now have intro and outro dialogue. Sure thing. Heralding minions, which is those lightning spires that teleport around and follow you, can no longer be found in Delve monsters. That's really good because those stupid lightning things will follow you forever. So if there's like a heralding minions monster like in the side and you go past it when you're delving, those stupid things would follow you the whole time. And now you can't find those in Delve anymore, thank God. Rare monsters spawned during the boss fight are now limited to 2 ArchNemesis modifiers. Rare monsters that don't drop loot are now limited to ArchNemesis modifiers. Okay. The aura from Executioner and Verdant Spores from the rejuvenating ArchNemesis modifier no longer affects player minions. We'll see this in a second. They're working towards your minions being less squishy against ArchNemesis stuff. Beyond monsters, life of beyond bosses has been lowered by 5%, which is like, okay, they're supposed to be like the interesting thing. However, this is huge. The life of all other Beyond monsters has been lowered by 60%. Right now, Beyond monsters are really tanky for, as far as I can tell, literally 0 reward. So that's going to be a nice step forward. Improve the outcome odds for tainted orbs. We will see what that is. We're going to need people in standard basically to test this. Currently, I believe the testing says 10 to 15% versus worsening. So we'll see how that goes. The closer that gets to 50%, the better. Maybe it'll be worth actually risking on some items. Beyond bosses can no longer spawn in Elva, which is good because currently, they have so much HP, you just can't kill them. This here is the very big notable one that I'm sure a lot of minion players have been salivating for. Lowered the damage dealt to minions by League monster skills and endgame map boss skills that felt punishing. For example, Shaper's Beam and Slam, Tool's Barrage skill, Cirrus's skills, amongst many others. So right now, if you've played minion builds, honestly, even before this patch, you know that specific things like Golems versus Cirrus right now is absolutely atrocious. They would just walk right through the tornadoes and they all just fall apart and die. Hopefully, this is like significantly less. Gazzy's been putting out a lot of stuff about how his Bob, his animate guardian, is just dying constantly. So I think that that's going to be pretty great for a lot of minion players. Eldritch, Exalted Chaos, and Orbs of Annulment now drop in lower level areas, and their drop rate has been buffed. This is great. This is basically the only way to reforge keeping prefix or suffix anymore. So this will go a really long way to helping people craft. Unfortunately, it is locked to just items that can get those new Eldritch implicits. They did say that that's something that they want to work on, but that's not in these patch notes. Here's a very huge one. Marks applied to you by a monster are now removed if you move a great distance away. Currently, if you get a mark on you from a monster and you don't kill that monster, that mark will stay on you for the rest of the map. To the point where Delve, all of Delve is a single instance. Even when you teleport back to the surface, you still have the mark on you, and you have to go all the way back to your hideout to remove the mark. So this is a gigantic change that I've been waiting for a very long time. Lowered the number of rare and magic monsters during harvest encounters. Great. Porter crafting station now shows how much life force you have. That's really good. Reduce the likelihood of a full sequence of strong boxes could fail to spawn in areas affected by Elva's memory. Interesting. Didn't know that was a bug. Confined mouse to window now works better with wider aspect ratios for all those people doing 32:9. I feel for you guys. You got totally screwed over with this patch, and they are not supporting super wide screens at the moment. So they added black bars. The confined mouse to window was not respecting that. So looks like they're fixing that. Updated the text on Aegis Aurora to recover instead of replenish. This is not a functional change. This was a very interesting change that I think is really good. Added the physical tag to Poacher's Mark. So any physical skills that might be using Poacher's Mark, you can take advantage of this a lot better, which is pretty cool. Poacher's Mark is one of those curses that doesn't really get much play. It's kind of like one of the lower value ones, doesn't give you a ton of damage, but this should make it decently more compelling for people. Updated the Arctic Armor ground effect audio to be quieter. As someone who's using Arctic Armor right now, thank you. Couple fixes to monsters and ArchNemesis. This is really good. Fixed a bug where players could become unable to move a short time after using Frostblink while shield charging. That felt really, really clunky. Basically, you had to wait for the cooldown until you can move again. You got like locked in place. So this is a very nice fix. Fixed a bug where Lightning Conduit could rarely cause visual effects on enemies not hit by the skill. Super minor. Fixed a bug where Vol skills granted by skill gems with alternate quality were getting no benefit from quality rather than the default quality stat. Ooh, I did not know this was happening. So this is a really nice fix. The way it's supposed to work is Vol Molten Shell is still supposed to have the default quality. Those alternate qualities should not be applying to the Vol skill. They're two different skills. However, quality should still be working with it. And apparently that was not the case. So this is a really big fix. Fixed a bug where Sunder over 100% wave reduction would behave as if it had none. We've seen a couple examples of that where it kind of looked bugged. So that's a fix there. Fixed an issue where flasks with the used when charges full enchantment were not able to be used multiple times in a single frame. Fixed the bugs where Innocence was not immune to knockback when encountered outside of his arena. I have seen that. And the rest of these are pretty minor. So yeah, we're basically gonna have to wait until minion players do a lot of testing here, see if they are a lot more survivable. Hopefully this is enough to push it over the edge and make minions actually viable for casual players and not just fall over and die in boss encounters right now. I think that's really kind of the niche that minions fit in Path of Exile, and that'll be good to get them back in there. Hopefully they can get more survivable. I'm really excited for maybe the Tainted Orbs having some use. Right now, you see, like, I actually roll over Beyond right now, and I'm really hopeful that, you know, maybe this will go up to 30, 35, 40%, please, GGG. So these will actually have some value and people will want to buy them and use them. And maybe actually farming Beyond will have some value. So we'll see how that goes. And then, yeah, hopefully we get a lot more mirrored jewelry that has some value. And we'll see some really cool stuff like Jung Roan's reduced projectile tech. He just put out a video today about doing reduced projectile speed with an Eye of Winter cast on crit. That looked really cool. And I think more and more this crazy jewelry is really like the interesting mechanic about 3.19. And it's just so rare that we're not seeing a lot of experimentation. So I hope we see a lot more of that. I think that's just like the most exciting thing about this patch. Yeah, let me know in the comments below if this is like exciting to you, if this is enough to bring you back. You know, I know a lot of people quit and they're kind of holding off, but it does seem like the retention is kind of stable and people are having fun. I can say that I personally am. You know, it did require a lot of patches to get to a decent place, but the game feels very playable. And yeah, just hope that they can hold steady with 3.20. You know, this doesn't happen again. Anyway, I'm going to go get ready for bed and not the stream. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Goodbye.